Okay, guys, so let's talk about FC25. There's obviously been a lot of videos from myself criticising the game since release, over numerous different periods and things that have happened with this game, whether it be the gameplay, the content, EA messing up. I've criticised them quite a lot, so we're going to be talking about, my thoughts on the current state of this game, and I'd invite you all to comment down below, whether you've come back to the game, whether you've been playing the whole time, whatever your situation or relationship is with this game, please do let me know your thoughts on it in the comments, because I really enjoy seeing all of your feedback. It doesn't go unnoticed. These are some of my favourite videos to make, just purely on the feedback that I get from you guys. So leave a like if you enjoy, comment down below, subscribe if you're new, and let's get into it. If you need the cheapest FC25 coins to build your super team, then check out MMOEXP by clicking the link down below and use code JambooUK for 5% off. Okay, so FC25. I think, to be honest, the start that this game had, what are we in now? We're 23rd of December, so the game's been out like 3 months now. It's probably the worst start, to a FIFA game that I can remember, in terms of the criticism. I think the general viewership, amongst content creators is down a lot, and that's due to, lack of interest in the game. So recently what EA have tried to do is they have tweaked things in order to try and get people back playing the game, which makes sense. One thing I was interested in is they did some timely changes, notably the big content announcement, of like the swaps and things like that, and then that was shortly followed by the live tuning, which enabled us to actually be able to left stick dribble, and it all sort of fell in line with UFL coming out, and I have no idea, whether that's related. Maybe this game had just got to a point where EA thought like is enough, like we have to do something, but it did seem very, sort of a coincidence, the timing, because I know a lot of people have gone over to UFL and they've been really enjoying that as well. So let's talk about FC25 anyway. Obviously I'm still playing. I still run my weekend league service, so every weekend I'm playing quite a lot of foot champs. I don't really play the game at all during the week anymore, because for me, as much as I can see, a lot of people are really enjoying, this current content. We'll go and have a look at it, while I'm talking and stuff. This sort of content, whilst I do think it's a good, addition to the game, it's never really caught my interest too much, because I always think EA, they tend to do things to take away from, I guess a way to phrase it better is they'll come up with a really good idea and then the execution of it tends to be poor. So you may remember, like, it must be coming up to like 10 years ago now, not quite that long, but remember the infamous, like, the Aubameyang footies mini tournament you could earn and things like that. They come up with these good ideas and then just don't do anything, which is really frustrating. The thing with swaps is you have to put in a pretty hefty grind, and what tends to happen, you'll go and pick this Rodrigo, for example, which at the minute's a really good card, but then give it a couple of months and there'll be some other promo where you're easily able to get a card that is much better than even this. So I don't know, it's just the sheer amount of time that people are forced to, and I have no issue, by the way. I enjoy the concept of, like, put things in the game to grind and give people things to do. Like, it makes sense. I just want, the way I've always wanted it is more reward for higher skilled players. So if you're hitting those top ranks in champs, you should see a big reward for that. Obviously they've been making changes to champs as well. I think as of the champs that starts in a few days from this video going up, they are making it easier to get into champs. They have done slight tweaks and things to the rewards as well. But in general, I don't feel the game is as rewarding as it should be, from a gameplay aspect. I think there's too much sitting on the menus, spamming SBC grind, which I get. Again, I know that a lot of people enjoy it. It's just not really for me. But whilst I say this, I can appreciate and see that the game has improved by EA adding this content stuff in, because people do enjoy it, and I have seen that a lot of people have said that at the moment they are actually enjoying the game. So that is a positive thing, and fair play to EA, for doing that. I think they were sort of forced to act though, because the game was in such a bad spot that they had to do something. And I called that before it even happened. I said that it's not a case of, when people are like sat there hating on the game but still playing. EA don't mind that because people are still engaged. The most dangerous thing for EA is when it gets to a point where people are so bored and fed up that they actually just stop playing. And that is the point that we got to. And I believe that that is why we saw a lot of the changes. Now, do I think that there's still a lot of room for improvement in the content? Absolutely. I feel like a lot of days go by where you look at the 6 p.m. content and it's just garbage. Like, I think on a yearly cycle game like this, there literally should be things every day that are making people say, wow. They've got unlimited resources. They should have all the content people in the world that they are able to get. And it should be just... I remember a quote from one of the community people like a few years ago when they said it was going to be like 24/7 non-stop live content. Just never happened. But that is what it should be. Like, this is the world's biggest football game. They do absolutely huge numbers in sales, revenue from the microtransactions. It should just be a complete experience where like you're jumping on all the time. And there's always something to do and always something new. It should never, ever feel like it's getting stale, in my opinion. So that is something they need to work on. In terms of the actual gameplay, I remember saying in one of these previous videos that I feel like no matter what they do, FC25 is so far gone, I think it was beyond saving. Even with this left stick dribbling patch, whilst I do think that it has massively... increase just the funness of the game. You're able to actually dribble a bit now. Is it perfect? No. I think one of the main issues on this game from a gameplay standpoint is how defensively heavy the game favours the defensive player. So you can have all the left stick dribbling in the world, right? But when their Van Dijk is able to just tackle through the back of you anyway and get the ball, it doesn't matter whether you're spinning on a sixpence, whether you're outplaying your opponent. I've seen it numerous times, where you send somebody the wrong way with the dribbling and that Van Dijk will still stick his foot out and find a way to claw the ball back. So the game, in my opinion, is still, it's far, far, far from what I think a good football game should be. From a gameplay standpoint, I've still been preferring the UFL gameplay. I know a lot of people agree, a lot of people disagree. I guess it's just personal preference. But the thing with FC, I still feel what it lacks in the gameplay is that real outplay potential. I remember back when I was competing as a pro player, you could see something happen on the pitch and say to yourself, like, that was very high level from the opponent. I don't really see it anymore. Like, all it is either mechanic spamming or just hoping, doing the same thing over and over again, and eventually something ends up working because their, defender will make a mistake or you get a rebound. You guys know what I mean. You play the game just as much as I do these days. So I feel there's a long way to go. What I will give EA credit for is I do think, as much as I believe it, they were forced into the change. They did make the change and they've improved this game from a content perspective and a gameplay perspective. Now, there's a long way to go in the year. It's sort of a little bit painful for me to say we've got 9 months left of FC25. I'm ready to move on to the FC26. But yeah, it'll be interesting to hear your guys' thoughts. We'll obviously, there'll be some big promos and stuff coming up. We've got Team of the Year on the way, Team of the Season, which is always my favourite by an absolute country mile. I love the idea of Team of the Season because you're getting those cracked out rewards. The actual promo is guaranteed in the rewards, which I feel it should be for every promo. I've never thought it makes much sense, when you've got like winter wildcards, for example, and then in rewards you're getting still just awful team of the weeks. It's never made any sense to me. So I'm looking forward to Team of the Season. One thing I am interested in as well is whether the champs matchmaking is actually going to get easier because they're lowering the requirement again. and they're also extending the time that you have to play it. I just feel it could be a lot less sweaty starting from next week, which would be nice because, you know, from a selfish perspective, a lot of my content is like we stream the Foot Champ speed runs and stuff. And last year, you know, I would go 20-0, which it was then, you know, frequently, and it was just a much more fun experience. I'm not saying I just want to play bad people every game. I sort of do, you know, I would take that, but that's not what I mean. I just mean Champs is just so sweaty now that it's unbearably unenjoyable. You know, Rivals is the mode for playing people on your ability. I don't think you should be punished in Champs, you know, for having a good record and just having to go to war every single game. So hopefully it does change with this new update. But what I will say to end off the video, fair play to EA, because they have, to be fair to them, they've improved this game over the last few weeks, and that's all you can really ask for. Is it near what we want it to be? No. Have they made progress? Yes. So fair play to them. Guys, I just want to say to you all as well, I hope you have a really good Christmas. The support never goes unnoticed. I appreciate every single one of you that tune in, allow me to do this for a living and watch the videos. So thank you very much. I'm going to wrap it up there. Have a great Christmas. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and peace.